Hey, it's Vasco from Metro Hobbies and welcome to another unboxing. Today we are going to be looking at the Kyosho Mad Van. This is the VE version, which is the brushless version. It looks absolutely fantastic. They've done a number of upgrades to this one from the previous brushed version that they had. So let's crack the box open and see what we get. Alright, so once you get the truck out of the box, this is everything that you're going to get. You're going to get the truck fully assembled and ready to go. We've got the radio over on this side, which we'll get to in a minute. And then of course you get your bag of goodies. Now in here, there's actually a lot of things to get through. So I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible. First thing in my hand here is a tool that's pretty much worth its weight in gold. This is a turnbuckle wrench, which actually a lot of people would want one of these in their toolbox. You can get these separately from various different brands, but the fact that Kyosho has actually included one in the box I think is fantastic. This alone is worth the price of admission for this truck. So very, very good that they've included that. A spare part that you've got here is just a standard rear bumper, and I'll show you where that goes in a little while when we get to the truck, but you can essentially remove the wheelie bar and put this little rear bumper in there if you wish to. Don't know why you would do that, but it's kind of cool that they've included that in the box. Now this bit here, this is a rear spoiler. You will need to cut it out. There is some outlines that you kind of need to follow with some scissors. Cut this out. They also give you a little screw in the bag in there as well, just so that you can actually attach it to the back of the van. I believe that's where it goes. Yeah, the instructions does say that this is a rear spoiler for the truck. There is also a little bind plug in here, and they're giving you an entire plastic bag for this tiny little bind plug, which you technically shouldn't need to use it, but if you do find yourself in the need to rebind the radio to the truck, well, they've included that in there for you as well. A couple of other little baggies in here as well. We have some Allen keys along with some gripped I guess washers. There's 4 washers in there and some Allen keys for you to help you work on the car, and also a bag of little plastic spare bits. Now this is actually really cool that they've included some spares, because you've got preload spacers for your shocks. You've also got some spare servo horns. There's some spare shock pistons in here as well, and some rod ends. I believe they could be turnbuckle rod ends or shock rod ends. So really good that Kyosho has actually included a couple of little bits and pieces in here in case you do happen to have a couple of mishaps. You've got parts already in the box ready to go. Now there's some literature in here, some spare manual bits and some information that you can read through. I won't go into too much detail in regards to that. And of course, another really cool thing that they've included in the box, if I can get it out of here, is actually a sticker sheet. Now this is going to be a little bit hard to capture on camera because the stickers are all white on a white background, but you've got some stripes that you can add to the truck. You've got some Kyosho stickers in there as well, and then a whole bunch of Mad Van and logos and things like that in there, which look absolutely amazing. I think if you really want to go to town and decorate this truck, you can do so with these stickers. So really nice that they've included those. And last but not least is the all-important manual that I know a lot of you are very excited to read, because yeah, this actually has a lot of useful information. You know, aside from the basic stuff of how to turn the radio on, what all the dials do and all that sort of thing, where the batteries go, bind plug, you see the bind plug instructions there on how to bind up the receiver to the radio and so forth. There's also exploded views and maintenance schedules and things like that in here. On how to operate the truck. There's, if I go through here, there's a build step by step on how everything goes together. And then right at the back, you can see some exploded views of the diffs and of the entire truck right there as well, with part numbers attached to everything. And I believe at the back here, there's also some spare parts listings, so you can go through all of that in case you need to get any of the spare parts. The manual is actually very good. It's written in a couple of languages, hence the reason why it's a little bit thick and so forth, but all the information is there for you. So let's move on to the radio. So this radio is the same radio that came with the El Camino car that I unboxed a little while ago. And these are fantastic radios, very, very well detailed. I really like the fact that the wheel is kind of kinked inwards a little bit. It just makes it really nice and comfortable to hold in the hand. It is a nice foam wheel in here. The trigger does feel a little light for my liking, but it feels quite nice. It's nice and snug around the finger, which is good to see. Radio does run on only 4 AA's, as you can see down the bottom there, which is fantastic. So you will need to get those. And of course, you do need to get batteries for the truck itself. I'll put that back in. And then on top, we've got a whole bunch of dials and switches. I'll run through these very quickly. So down, we'll start at the top, I guess. Over here, we have our throttle trim. So that guy there, you don't really need to touch your throttle trim as such, because otherwise the truck will just start driving by itself. And then we have the forward and forward. I believe that this is your throttle EPAs over here. So throttle forward and reverse EPAs. So this allows you to set the top speed of the car as you're using it, which is really good. So you can give this, to young people or people that are a little bit less experienced and actually cap the top speed of the car. And then over here we have the steering trim, obviously just so that you can align the wheels so that the car drives nice and straight. And then over on this side you have the steering dual rate, which kind of limits the turning angle of your wheels. So now nice that they've included that. Got some LED lights on there as well. You got your reverse switches down here, which you don't technically need to touch, unless of course you change out power systems or steering servos, in which case you may need to reverse the direction of those. But other than that, everything should be pretty much ready to go out of the box. So on and off switch is right at the back of the radio just here, so you can slide that on and off. There is a little toggle switch just here, which I believe is out of use at the moment. It's not really being hooked up to anything, but that's pretty much it. Really nice comprehensive radio, nice rubber feel in the back. It feels great in the hand. I think Kyosho's done a really good job of including all of these components in the ready-to-run Mad Van. Okay, so now we're finally at the main event, which is of course the Mad Van itself. And what a stunning looking truck this is. Like, Kyosho have just gone to town on the details and all the little ornaments, and everything that they've done on this truck is just amazing. This isn't your typical basher vehicle. People that buy this type of vehicle will have a certain appreciation for the body and the styling, and they'll take probably a little bit more care with this type of vehicle than I think with something else that we have on the shelves. But the way that this looks is absolutely stunning. A beautiful candy red, like it has a little bit of a pearl look to it on the paint scheme. Very well detailed with the chrome bumpers. They do have light buckets in the body as well, which I'll show you in a minute. So you can add LEDs to this if you want to. Just, the side mirrors, the little sun visor on the top here. There's also some body skids on the roof here, so that if you do happen to have a rollover, it kind of protects the body a little bit, which I think is fantastic. The windows, even though they are a sticker, they're a tint, so you can't see too much inside, which I think is fantastic because it kind of hides all the electrics and takes us away from, if you see everything inside, it takes away that element of fantasy of a real truck. So I like that they've sort of hidden that a little bit. The grille and the front bumper, just the detail and the way that they've done this is just amazing. Kyosho have completely outdone themselves here. It's very, very different to everything else that's out there on the market. I really appreciate this type of vehicle because it's a little bit different from everything else, and I think it makes it stand out a bit more. The wheelie bar, as you can see, stands out here quite a bit. It's non-adjustable, but the wheels do spin quite freely, which is really nice. And then of course the angle of attack there, as you can see, will give you a nice, almost like a 45-degree angle, so that you can hold the wheelie all the way down the street if you want to. So that's pretty much it for the body itself and the way that this thing looks. Wheels and tires, I don't suspect that these tires are going to give you an enormous amount of grip in a variety of terrains. They're probably going to have their application, but given the tread, which is kind of like the chevron style of tread, this real sort of monster jam, monster truck tread, I guess, the tires themselves actually do feel quite soft. They do have foam inserts, and they could potentially grip quite well, but I think in a variety of surfaces these are probably going to struggle. They do have a huge offset on the wheels themselves, so the tire or the wheel is actually recessed in quite a fair bit to give it a really nice wide stance, and obviously when you're turning the truck so that it's not hitting the body as well. So something to keep in mind there. So I'll quickly take the body off, and you can just talk amongst yourselves for a little bit while I try and remove these body pins as quickly as I can. Yeah, this is a really nice looking truck. If I can grab that other one out of the way. And we'll have a bit of a look on at the body underneath as well. So you can see that the mirrors there are actually attached with a couple of body pins on the inside. and then you can see the light buckets at the front there, so you can see just here where you can insert your LEDs, and then the same thing on the rear as well. You can see there's a couple of little light buckets there for the LEDs to go in. The bumpers, both front and rear, have got these actual attachments to the body, so if you do snap these off, I presume that you can probably get spare parts for these bumpers and everything else. So really nice way that they've done that. Very nice looking body, and the body itself actually feels, you know, pretty decent. It's not very thin or anything like that. Now you can see the chassis itself here in all its magnificent glory. Couple of things that you'll notice straight off the bat compared to the standard chassis that they have with the brushed motors is that this one's actually got an aluminium center drive shaft. So this is an upgraded drive shaft, purely because the other ones come with a plastic drive shaft because they're brushed, but because you're going to be doing a much faster speed here, obviously they've upgraded that to aluminium. Another thing to note is that the diffs have also been beefed up on these cars to handle the extra power of the brushless system. The brushless motor itself, as you can see, is right there along with the ESC. You've got your receiver tucked away in between all of those just there, and then you've got your steering servo tucked in underneath this little box here, right underneath the on and off switch, which is a little slider switch just there. There's a little foam block on or in the battery tray to allow for extra long batteries. So if you really want to get that extra long run time, and you want to, you know, if you've got like really big batteries, you can take that foam block out and obviously accommodate for those. Velcro strap there, which is fantastic because that means that even if the battery is a little bit taller than normal, the Velcro strap should be able to, you know, grab the battery quite easily. It does come with the standard Dean's connector, which is quite nice, and this does look like a genuine Dean's plug, so good on Kyosho for including that in there as well. And then suspension-wise, actually doesn't feel too bad. I mean, this is a light 10 scale vehicle, so it does have a little bit of a bounce to it, but again, you can adjust that with some preloads. You can take some of the preloads that they've got on here at the moment, you can take some of those out, or you've got a couple of extras in the packet if you want to stiffen it up a little bit. You got fixed links all the way around, so there's no camber or toe adjustments that you can really do with this vehicle. But then again, you know, for the type of vehicle that it is, this isn't a race-bred vehicle, so you know, you're just going to be putting around in the local park or whatever. I think this will do just fine. The chassis is a nice low center of gravity chassis, very clean underneath. Everything is very nicely flushed and tucked away, which is good to see. Shock towers, as you can see here, the rear is adjustable, but the front does not look adjustable to me, although I presume that you can probably get some adjustable posts for the front, or maybe do something similar. So there might be something available out there. The shocks are a standard plastic shock with the aluminium cap on there, and of course you got the preloads to adjust the ride height of the vehicle, which is quite nice. And that pretty much wraps it up. There's really not a lot to it. It's a very simple car. And yeah, you can see where the wheelie bar is attached here on the back. Just quickly, just in regards to that rear bumper piece, you can take the wheelie bar off and just put the bumper on the back there. I presume that that's where it's going to go if you don't want to have the wheelie bar sticking out at the back there. So if you want more of a scaly sort of look. So that's it for the Kyosho Mad Van VE, an absolutely stunning vehicle. I really like what Kyosho are doing with these cars. I like the extra attention to detail, and that they're sort of targeting a slightly different market out there. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be jumping on these trucks when they eventually become available, because it's an absolutely stunning vehicle. It has a lot of detail, and I know a lot of people out there actually go out of their way to put LEDs on, you know, current basher vehicles, to have something that's already prepped for those LEDs, and you can do something really cool with it. I think it's fantastic. So good on them for doing that. Okay, so that wraps up another unboxing here at Metro Hobbies. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I absolutely love this truck. I think I may even grab one myself, to be honest with you. It looks absolutely stunning. I love the color. I love the features that it has, and the fact that it's a little bit different from everything else out there on the market. Thank you again for watching. Be sure to hit that like button before you go. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll be speaking to you all next time.